Real Country 1430 AM and 107.3 FM WRDN. Brian Winnikins from World Dairy Expo, and thank you to our Expo sponsors, including Olson Farm Services, Farm First Dairy Cooperative, Synergy Co-op, UtterTech Osteoplastics, Wisconsin Corn Growers Association, Wisconsin Soybean Marketing Board, and Compeer Financial. Joining us right now, Brad Herkenhoff, and he is with Compeer Financial. He's a dairy lending specialist. We're going to talk a little bit about the dairy markets. Obviously, we have the dairy folks here from Compeer at World Dairy Expo. And Brad, thanks for joining us. Been an interesting year in the dairy industry. Maybe there is a little light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, absolutely. We came off a really nice year in 2022. 2023, obviously, more of a struggle. Milk prices were, it didn't allow for a whole lot to work with there. 2024. First quarter was, a little rough, but rebounded here in the second quarter of 24 here, and it's been strong since. We got some good feed prices; they really came down a lot. So, income over feed cost margins are looking good right now.
And we have seen some reduction, at least a little bit at times, in the cattle inventory, even in milk production, and it doesn't sound like a lot at times, but boy, that one half of 0.5% reduction really changes everything.
Oh, absolutely. The cow numbers are tight right now. They're, we're no higher than we were the last couple years, and with the beef price or the beef market the way it is, right now our dairy cattle are worth so much just for the wombs, to raise a beef calf out of them. So yeah, it's been really interesting.
I know we've had some interesting weather this year across the upper Midwest. The drought in Minnesota. For a while, we had the drought here in Wisconsin. In May or in March rather, and by the end of April, May, we were out of it totally. But we've had some severe weather, so there have been some challenges for the dairy producers with those crops, which could potentially make some issues for next year, right?
Yeah, correct. I would say, I'm out of central Minnesota area, kind of cover Minnesota and into northwestern Wisconsin. Most of that area was pretty decent, average to pretty good. So most of those are sitting, I would say, okay for feed quantity and quality that's there. But yeah, there are parts that are going to be a little bit more challenging that way, where they didn't get the feed that they were planning on. So.
Talking with Brad Herkenhoff, he's a dairy lending specialist with Compeer Financial. So as we get ready, I know we're still harvesting. But we have to start to plan for 2025. So what do producers need to be thinking about and getting ready for those plans? Because before you know it, it's going to be planting season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always just a matter of what's the future plan of the dairy. Are they looking at remaining kind of status quo? Are they looking at some expansions? But we're always, discussing risk management. Being aware of, cost of production, what it takes to get all the bills paid and make the payments around the farm. So risk management is always one, but controlling on the income side and the expense side. And right now, with where feed prices are at, a lot of inputs, it's looking pretty decent that way.
And that inflation has been something that has been a difficult part for the last couple of years, but hopefully we're seeing a little bit of a change in that. But that's where the producers really need to kind of get those pencils out and really start looking at all this stuff.
Yeah, and some of those they're so hard to control. I mean, I look at like repairs and maintenance. It's unreal what the repair cost has done over the last couple years due to inflation, and it's hard. There's not a whole lot of options. Repairs have to be done. So.
And again, we're talking with Brad Herkenhoff. He's a dairy lending specialist with Compeer Financial. Now, Brian, I'll use myself as the example. Let's say Brian's Dairy. Okay, I'm hearing this, and it's like, I know I got to go through this, but I really could use some help. That's where yourself or any of the Compeer staff, you guys love coming to Brian's Dairy or any farm. Let's look at it together.
Correct. Yep. And with Compeer Financial, we have a specialized dairy team that that's our focus. All we work with is dairy clients and able to provide great service and resources to any of our dairy producers and any farmers within our territory. So.
So you can always talk with John Zander, of course, out of the Eau Claire office with Compeer Financial. He also makes some great clocks too. I'm just going to tell you, we have some of those at the station. He does a great job with that. But you can give John a call as well. And Brad, again, thank you for joining us this morning. Brad Herkenhoff, he's a dairy lending specialist with Compeer Financial from World Dairy Expo. I'm Brian Winnekins.